Good afternoon and welcome. We're so glad that you could all join us here for the Common Good Vermont CCTV Media Maven. We are live from Burlington, Vermont, the Channel 17 Town Meeting TV studios, where we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 folks joining us, but we have more than 65 people across the state. So you may be at your desk, or you may be at a community access center, some other corner of the state, and we have special thanks to our friends at Brattleboro Community Television, CATV in White River Junction, GNAT-TV in Manchester, Middlebury Community Television at the Isley Library, ORCA Media in Montpelier, and PEG TV in Rutland. So we're really glad to see you all out there in TV land, and a special thanks to Liz Ruffa, our colleague at Common Good Vermont, who has organized this fantastic turnout. So thank you all for participating, and thanks all for tuning in. We're going to be sharing links and materials to these resources after the event. We'll send that out with a quick little survey, so feel free to take notes, but also we'll send out resources that we talk about during the program. We're going to do some presentation and a little hands-on and a little discussion among ourselves. Our purpose here today is to talk about how we as community members and activists and folks that work in the nonprofit sector can use mobile video more effectively. And rather than dive right into the how to do the mobile video, which we will get to a little later on, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the trends related to mobile video, and also the strategic communication pillars that we need to think about no matter what kind of media we're using. So we're going to do a quick overview of those, and then we'll look at some examples of video that have been made on mobile devices, but also short form. The audio's not working so well. This is probably better. Thank you. The short form video that we'll be looking at, and then Megan will be talking about some of the how-tos, how to make that, how to make your mobile device sing. So I'm going to keep using this microphone, and then we'll change things around. You know, as you might know, is it good? It's great. Okay. Thank you. One of the main drivers in having this event is that we operate here at CCTV and Channel 17 at a community media center. And for many years, almost 30 years, we have been providing video cameras to people to make programs. And when we started in the business, the video cameras were pretty big. And it is quite remarkable that now in the palm of our hands, we have an entire television studio. But the principles of video making and the principles of effective communication really have not changed. So let's look at some kind of big picture information about mobile devices. This is pretty dense, but let me just read it to you. 54% of internet users have posted original photos or videos to websites, and 47% share photos or videos they find elsewhere online. This is from the Pew Center on the Internet. Young adults and women lead the way in each of these activities, not surprising. Mobile connectivity has brought these visuals into countless lives in real time, and this adds up to a new kind of collective digital scrapbook with fresh forms of storytelling and social bonding. So one of the things we're going to talk a little bit more about is not just that we, as people who work in organizations or are activists, make mobile video and make this content, but how we can encourage the people that we work with and that we serve to make content about what we do and what they're interested in. So it's really an opportunity for a two-way conversation rather than a let's broadcast the message that we have only one-way conversation. This, as I mentioned, is from the Pew Center on Internet and Society, and they have some wonderful data on mobile usage and internet usage in general, which is always good to reflect on when you want to think about best ways to use these tools. Here's some top 7 interesting facts about the unstoppable rise of mobile. Mobile phones are going to overtake PCs as the most common web access device worldwide by the end of 2013. And that's because of the rise of 3G, big bandwidth cellular access that people can access through a mobile device. The overall online video users are expected to double to 1.5 billion in 2016. So when you look at the charts of online video usage, they just are going up, 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 and up. I said that. There will be over 73 million mobile video viewers in 2013. Online video now accounts for 50% of all mobile traffic and up to 69% of traffic on certain networks. Now this is because video takes up a lot of bandwidth, okay? But it still is showing that this is a prevailing way that people are consuming information and sharing information. Most viewing of online video actually happens at home. So what's really driving this is not so much the small short form video that we're going to talk about today, but people watching Netflix, right? People cutting the cord from cable and watching television on their computers. Mobile video ads that include social media buttons drive 36% higher engagement. So why this is important for us is because the video that we produce can exist not only as an artifact that we want to show people, but that we can share it in social media contexts where other people can share it for us. So the power of networks becomes very important here and continues to be as the use of video grows online. More than 1 billion unique viewers visit YouTube each month, spending more than 4 billion hours watching videos. So there's some insane statistic that more video is produced in one day on YouTube than has been produced in the entire history of the world. Something phenomenal like that. But the fact is, the volume of what we're talking about is really significant. And that smartphone owners watch at least 1 hour of mobile video per week, 2/3 of them. So in this environment where video is really moving online and video production and consumption is moving to mobile smart devices, it provides an opportunity for us as nonprofit and activist communicators to think about how we're going to use this more effectively, which is, I presume, is why we're all here today. So the first thing that we would always say, if anyone came into our Community Access Center, of which there are many centers watching as well, someone would come in and they would say, I want to make a video. I'm like, yes, that's great. We have equipment, we have channels, we have all kinds of resources for you, but why? Who's going to watch? What are they going to do with it? How are you going to get it to them? So these questions remain important. So I think it's vital for us to just quick refresher, go back to the strategic thinking that is necessary when we undertake any communication activity. The first question is, who is your audience? And I'd like you to think about these questions as I'm going through them, and then we're going to have just a couple minutes for you to turn to the person next to you and tell them what you're thinking, okay? So presumably you have some ideas in your head, or you'll get some as a process of this, but I want you to ask yourself, all right, in the project that I want to do with the kids of the Boys and Girls Club or the volunteers that I have at the United Way, who is my audience? Because this is really important, because what drives our communications is not what we want to do, it's what's important to the people that we want to change their behavior or ask them to take an action on our behalf. So what action do you want them to take? Do we want people to give us money? Do we want people to go out and protest and get active on our behalf? Or do we want them to volunteer? Or do we want them to recycle? I mean, what action do we want people to take on our behalf? And then what is it that they care about? Not what we care about. What are their values? And in the marketing business, when you look at this question, you think about it in terms of help me statements. So if you were to ask your volunteer what was important to them and what was driving them, you would ask them to put it in the form of the sentence, help me to, right? So maybe it would be, help me to make a difference in my community. Help me to make the environment more beautiful. Help me to get kids to stop drinking soda, right? Help me to be a healthier person. Like, what are the help me statements? And this is really important because the message that we have for them, the thing that we want them to do, really needs to speak very specifically to what they care about. Because as we all know, We're the theys, right? We're not going to be motivated to do something unless we care about it. So we have to ask these questions. And it's true, again, no matter what kind of media that we're producing. And then another really vital question is, how are the people we're working with consuming media, right? So if we have a message and we put it on the radio, but they're not radio listeners, what's the point of that, right? So are they reading newspapers? Because some people that we want to reach are actually reading newspapers. People still read newspapers, actually, even though in some communities they're not that great. But I'm not naming any names. Are people listening to the radio? A lot of people still listen to the radio in their car, AM and FM. Or are they consuming media on their mobile devices? Or what other ways could you possibly reach someone, right? So billboards, bus signs, I mean, all kinds of things. People in their cars, you can reach them in multiple different ways. So once we've identified what's important to the people we're serving, and we want them to, there's something we want them to do, and we understand where they are so we can get that message to them where they are, then we formulate the message. And when I was looking for this slide, which says, why love one but eat the other, choose vegetarian, it's a billboard, and I happen to love billboards. I mean, I understand it's great we don't have them in Vermont, but they are very effective. And when you go and look at Google Images for billboards, you see some amazingly powerful messages that you can consume while you're driving 60 miles an hour. So, I mean, to me, those are the pithiest and can be the most effective. They're a really good example of short and sweet messages. So formulate your message, and the message speaks directly to the help me statement of the people that we're trying to move. And then after we've done all of that, which is really the anatomy of communication strategy, we decide what our tactics are. What are we going to do? Oh, a mobile video would actually be a really effective thing. Getting the people that I work with to produce short form videos and contributing them in some form would be a really effective thing to do. But it isn't until we've gone through this whole mental exercise that we really can conclude that this is a tool that will be useful for us to use. So now we're going to look at some examples, because examples always kind of get our juices going. But before we do that, I'd like you just to spend a minute, literally a minute, maybe a minute and a half, each, talking to the person next to you. And if you're at home, we'd love you to email us, coordinator@commongoodvt.org. Just email us. Who is the audience for the project that you want to do, and what do they care about? And do you think that video is going to be an effective way to reach them? So just turn to the person next to you and the closest person to you, and just let's just talk for 60 seconds and then switch off, okay? So this is exercise time. Do you know where they are? You know where they are, so. We're going to go back to our presentation. So did anybody hear an interesting example of, Kathleen has the microphone. Did anybody hear an interesting example of a project somebody wants to do that they want to share about? That would be great to hear one. I know there's a good example, or that you wanted to just mention. Yeah, great. Thank you, Derek.
Hi, I'm Derek Lambert. I was talking with Laurie from the United Way, who's talking about sharing the stories of volunteers from her organization and talking about how that's a more effective way to bring other volunteers in to hear the actual experience of people who have done that rather than talking about it or making a pamphlet about volunteering, to actually put people virtually into contact with people who have done it themselves. So that sounded effective to me.
Awesome. Great. So thank you. We'll look and see if we have any emails. We'll read those a little later if we have some. But I'd like to take this opportunity now to introduce Meghan O'Rourke, who's going to show us some examples of video that she's got for us to inspire us to think. And these are short form videos. Some of them are produced on mobile devices, but some of them are not. They're just short form. And Meghan has been doing outreach and training here at Channel 17 and CCTV for many, many years, and I consider her one of the great video teachers in Vermont. So we're really glad that she's here helping us with this workshop today. So Meghan, welcome.
Great. Again, as Lauren Glenn said, some of these videos were produced on mobile devices, and someone was asking earlier, what if I don't have the right mobile device? I'm really excited to get to the point where I get to show you some of the apps, because they hopefully free you up, get you past the technological hurdles of worrying about buttons, and give you some inspirational ways of approaching, just being creative with what's going on out there that you want to put into two-dimensional form. These, I'll show you a little bit. We're not going to watch the whole things, but these are videos that communities have been using to sort of improve their public presence. And then I'm going to jump to Vine. Vine is a 6-second viral video sharing community. And we'll look at a couple of ways that nonprofits are using those. So this is one, when we talk about planning, the whole strategic planning process, this is incredibly planned. I guess we don't have any sound. Which is okay, because looking at it is more interesting. So this is a one-take video that the city of, let me see if I can remember, Grand Rapids, Michigan produced after they were put in some worst place in the world to live, top 10 cities that you want to move out of as fast as possible. So in response to that, they got all their citizens together to create this video to show how amazing and cool and creative their city is. It's not done with an iPhone. It's done with, fancy cameras. Can you hear it? But something touched me deep inside the day the music died. It was shared. So down here, actress Alyssa Milano tweeted, "I heart this video so much it makes me feel warm and fuzzy." Skipping down, can we stop watching that now? All right.
I was going to say, we all know this song.
Yeah. So in the realm of, here's the New York City Economic Development YouTube channel. So we'll get into how you want to distribute these videos. But one option is to create a way that your clients, consumers, members, friends can share their videos about you or about their project, about something that you give to them. So CSWD, a video contest around what makes drop-off so amazing. And then they post it to your YouTube channel for other people to see that video. And this is a case where the New York City Economic Development YouTube channel was trying to get folks to talk about the places they shop in the city and what's so amazing about it. This was shot with an iPhone or some sort of device.
Why do you like to shop here?
Because of the friendly faces and good meat. Their meat is very good. And their prices are excellent.
Great.
Why go anywhere else? How's that for that? No, they're very nice. And the quality is good. You don't have to go fancy.
Right.
I'm very basic. And so are they.
So how do you get people to think about their neighborhoods and communities and thinking about them in a new way, and get your members doing that for you? I'm going to pop over to Vine, and in part because if you're a teacher and you've been thrust into the world of iPads, which many schools have, you probably know about this, but if you don't, Air Server is a way of connecting your device to your projector, which is really fun and I'm excited about, so that what I'm looking at here will pop up on the screen right now, as long as it's working. And it doesn't. So we will skip over here. Okay.
Can you define short video?
Okay, so short video, no, I can't. I mean, you know, somewhere, how would you define short video? Somewhere between 3 and 10 minutes, 30 seconds to 10 minutes. Do you have a definition?
Well, something that's not a TV program length.
Yeah.
You know, an alternative to a standard 30-minute or 15-minute program.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great. This is frozen. It's good to deal with technology, and it makes sense. So Vine and Instagram is popularly known as a photo sharing platform. They have extended themselves to a video sharing platform. One thing to think about with all of these platforms is they each have their own audience. And we can think of it in terms of tiers. Instagram, Vine, Mixbit, other apps that I'm going to show you have their own communities. Outside of that, you can have bigger communities like Facebook. Instagram may sort of be comparable to Facebook in terms of its communities. And then you have YouTube or Vimeo, sort of video sharing platforms that you can then turn around and share those videos that you upload there to all of those other different sites. So you'll be thinking about your strategies. Here is UNICEF. Short
Hi, Lauren
video.
and Rachel. What are you working on?
Hey Justin, we're getting ready for the Celebrity Ambassador Trick or Treat for UNICEF shoot in LA. Stay tuned to find out who this year's Celebrity Ambassador is.
Nothing that exciting about that. Charity Water, this one on the other hand, wants to illustrate through a video image the difference between these women having to walk 4 hours to get water, and then they've installed water systems and they walk from the well into their home. So they use that short form video to encapsulate a message really quickly. And maybe Lauren Glenn, I'm going to try to get this working because there's some Vine videos on here that I want to show, which is where the best nonprofit examples have been.
So let me just say something about the different apps that you can use on your phone, right? So there is, on your phone, especially if you have what we call an iOS device, which is an Apple device, an iPhone, an iPad, right? You can use iMovie, right? And iMovie, you have to pay a certain amount of money to have, like $4.99, but it is a very robust editing software. So you can record on your camera, right, with your camera setting. You can take a picture or you can take a video, and then using iMovie, you can actually edit very simply on your device. We're not going to show that today because in order to get iMovie on my phone, it meant I had to upgrade to the new operating system, which is part of the tyranny of Apple. So we're just going to say that right now, and I just really didn't want to do that. So we're going to show you some online apps that actually have this very similar functionality and allow you to edit on your phone. One of the very exciting new applications that has just come out is called Mixbit, and that actually is what inspired us to do this workshop. Mixbit was created by the guys who invented YouTube, and Megan is going to demonstrate it, but it allows you to make up to an hour-long video, record it, bring in pictures from different sources, bring in video from different sources, and edit and crop and come out with a short-form video of any length that you desire. There's also another application called Director, which has some different functionality, you know, different features. It's more or less convenient in some ways, but it's the same idea. Then there is my personal favorite, Vine, which is a 6-second video and has been bought recently by Twitter. And what it does is it allows you on your camera, again, we'll show you how to do that, to record 6 seconds of video in short little bursts of 1 or 2 or 3 seconds, depending on how long you press your camera, essentially. But you end up with a 6-second piece of video that loops continuously and is part of a community of Vine users, right? So you go to Vine, if you want to kill a lot of time, you can go to Vine and watch these 6-second videos that were produced by thousands and thousands of people. And in fact, there are people that have a following. They have 6-second videos that they produce every day, and folks go and watch them. So they have little mini serial that you can follow, and it's only 6 seconds. I mean, it's sort of kind of amazing. So you, again, we keep thinking about Clare and the Chittenden Solid Waste District because, you know, garbage is eternally photographable in its variety of forms. So, you know, just think you could do a 6-second garbage update, right, if you wanted to. The garbage of the day, 6 seconds on a loop. The video also exists by itself as a standalone, so it doesn't have to just live in the Vine community. It can be a little piece of 6-second video that you share or you send out in an email or you post on Facebook, other places that you might want it. And then there are other applications that are of various lengths. The other one, what is it? It's Keek, which is more like 15 seconds or 18 seconds, right? So these are applications that you will find 13 and 14-year-olds are really pretty up on and they use quite a lot. But actually, when you think about it, just think about how you might be able to tell a story in 6 seconds. It's possible, and it can be done.
And I'm going to show them to you.
Yes.
As soon as this gets back up.
That's right. So
we have a couple questions.
Yep.
One was from Rutland, speaking to copyright laws involved with using a published song. So you heard Bye Bye Miss America Bye. I will recommend to all of you not to do that. It's easier that way. And you can support your local music community by finding local musicians who want to partner with you and use their music. My guess is they bought the rights or
to do that.
That's the right? Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah,
they bought
the rights.
the rights. Yeah. And another one is somebody asking about apps for Android. So when we get this back up, I'll bring up this slide. We've got a series of apps for Android. The first place I would start with any phone or mobile device is your camera option. You have a camera built in. You open it up and use it, and we'll go over some best practices for that as well.
So the camera allows you to take photographs and video as well. I also wanted to say that Mary Harwood, who's watching from the Franklin County Home Health Agency, talked about the video that she was interested in making short clips from current employees talking about what they like about working in home health care. So that's an interesting way to get some insight into that work that not a lot of people know about unless they're involved with it. And then with potential clients, people who wanted to participate, short clips of testimony from people who received service and why they liked it. So the question I think then would be for Mary would be, who's going to watch that, right? And how are we going to get it to them? And I imagine, if, for example, if we were trying to do a campaign for livable wage for home health workers, we might want to take those segments and have them talk about why their work is important to them and why it's important that they get paid a decent living wage, right? Because there's a campaign, or there was, and it's probably coming up again this year in the legislature around that. So those could be videos that get sent to the legislature. They could run on public access television. They could be sent directly in emails. They could be part of a video campaign or an ad campaign. There are a whole variety of ways that you could use those short pieces of video. All right.
So exciting.
All right. So now we're going to do the, you're going to connect the mobile device to the computer so we can actually see it.
So when this lovely device, when this lovely app works, which of course it worked really well this morning, yesterday, today. Hello. I will be able to show you this.
Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, sounds good. Yes.
I wasn't moved by the 6-second video idea.
Yeah.
When you talked about the 6-second videos, I just had to think of Andy Warhol and his 15 minutes of fame. It's down to 6 seconds.
It is down to 6 seconds.
In our lifetime.
That's right. Well, and you know, keep in mind when Andy Warhol said that about the 15 minutes, there was no public access. I mean, there was no opportunity for a regular person to have even 15 minutes, even 6 seconds, right? What forum would they have done that? Maybe they had an editorial on a radio station, right? That they went in, and I mean, I remember Channel 5 in New York, like you would see a regular person actually reading an editorial for 5 or 10 minutes. But other than that, there was no sort of mention of public access to mainstream media. And then when the FCC allowed that there could be 15 minutes of access, that was the beginning of public access. That was Newton Minow. And he said, you know, we're going to set aside 15 minutes for people to come and say what it is that they have to say. We're not going to provide cameras. We're not going to provide any means of production, but we're going to give them a 15-minute forum. And then that was struck down as unconstitutional. I mean, people don't realize that. That was struck down as unconstitutional because it infringed on the public First Amendment rights of the broadcasters, that they had to let somebody else use their airtime. And that's why equal time went by the boards, and that's why this whole idea of 15 minutes went by the boards. So it wasn't until public access was required in 1984 that channels be set aside by the cable operators, not the broadcasters, but the cable operators, in exchange for using the rights of way, that these public access channels even really were required. So now we've gone from having these fantastic facilities, which we have here, and all the centers that are watching around, and we're dealing with the fact that people don't necessarily need our cameras, and they don't necessarily need our channels to do what they want to do. They can use these mobile devices to tell the stories that they want to tell. So we're going to, why don't we now talk about how to make sort of the highlights of the how to use your mobile devices and sort of keep that in mind.
Okay.
Okay?
And maybe if Andy's around, he can troubleshoot this because I can't talk about it and troubleshoot at the same time.
That's fine.
So some of these things will seem quite obvious, and some of these things will seem less obvious. It's hard to stop troubleshooting when you started troubleshooting, right? the first thing that we want to think about when we're using our mobile, so how many people have one of these that they brought with them? Great. So did anybody download Mixbit before you came? So if that's easy for you, if you're not going to freak out about not remembering your Apple Store password, download Mixbit. And if you have time, you can also download Director, which in the world of apps is spelled without an O on the end of it. So it's Direct-R. They're little, so they have to lose some of the letters. And if you have an Android, we have Video, which is the iMovie competitor for Android, and you can look for that in your Android app store. So where was I here? So running through these, the tips for doing good video on your mobile device is to hold it steady. The first thing that I'm going to ask you to do is hold up your camera as if you're taking, or your mobile device as if you're taking a photograph of me. No, yeah. So 2 people in the room are holding the device as if it's a video camera, and the rest of you are holding it as if it's a mobile device. And this is the tricky thing. When you hold up your camera, I want you to turn it so it's your television ratio, the 4:3. So if you were to, it's working now, you can see it? It's not working. So if you can, it's not happening, yeah. Because I said take a picture of me, exactly. Yeah, I didn't mean to be tricky. Sorry, but I did. So there you go. So now you're holding this up, and you're holding it away from your body, which is going to be a little bit shaky, perhaps. So thinking about what Claire is doing, bracing yourself on a table, making yourself steady in some way. What am I looking at here? Is this a question? Oh, okay, thanks. Figuring out some way that you can create a tripod for yourself, or some way to keep yourself from making your people at home sick. The next thing is don't zoom. So some of these, once you've started recording video, you can't zoom anyway. But if you have the zoom function on your device, forget that it is able to do that. And always, if you want to get closer to your subject, move closer to your subject. When you use the zoom, you're going to exaggerate any movement. You're going to exaggerate any shake of your camera. And you're also only digitally making the picture larger. There's not an optical zoom. You can, however, buy devices for your iPhone and your iPad. So if you're going to start feeling serious about making videos and you want to purchase accessories for it, a quick Google or a Bing search for iPhone accessories brings up microphones that you can attach, lenses that you can snap on for different effects or for clearer video. Thinking about, is that the, oh no. Thinking about the lighting of your video, is there enough ambient light? Are you outside? Are you in the shade? Are you, is it a sunny day? This feels a little lost without having the demo available. Okay. Who knows what happened? Okay. Where am I at?
We were talking about lighting, so now you want to talk about composition, or hearing, audio.
Okay, so audio. So the most important part of your video is making sure that people can hear what you have to say. And if you're shooting with a mobile device, you're going to need to be close to your subject. People are much more comfortable with you being close to them with a video camera than you might expect. So maybe just now for a few seconds, turn to somebody nearby if you have a device where you are at your location. Turn to somebody and ask the person next to you a question about how they spent their summer. So if you could just, maybe you two, I think there's devices between each of you. And let's see.
Put you on the spot this time.
You're going to just use your camera function. If you have mixed bit, you can open it up.
Mm.
Actually, I was stuck in England for 3 weeks, but
Yeah.
So what's going on? Why is this?
I don't know why it's
do
not
the-
working all of a sudden. I literally just picked up the computer and moved it over here.
Usually if you have,
My only thing is that it's
we went on a trip to amusement park and that sort of thing.
what amusement park did you go to?
You'd have to ask, I don't remember.
Successful, but then it doesn't do
It
anything.
was fun. Apparently the
Did you
kids really
turn
liked
this
it.
on?
So
Nope.
there you go.
Oh, I think I did, yeah.
Otherwise it was
Go in menu bar.
good
there
weather,
you
so
go.
enjoyed
Yeah.
that too.
and it's not frozen. And this should be
That
this.
display.
That's
Maybe
right.
double click it just to.
Okay, tell me about it. Do something.
So I don't know. I'm like,
Wait. Oh no, there's a picture. Why in the world is it not working all of a sudden? It's not working all morning. Oh, wait, go back to that. Just make sure mirroring is on. Yep, it is. Have you ever had this happen?
I've never had it happen before. Nope.
Hang on.
And it
It
keeps
sees it.
popping it off. Yeah.
That sort of thing, or you're
All right. You'll do what?
Finish this and I'll get mixed it up for you.
Oh, I can get mixed it up.
what I'm wondering is if they're
Okay. So how many folks, sorry, I will pause you there. How many folks used Mixbit and how many of you used your cameras? Camera, you used your camera. So now if you have Mixbit downloaded, and some folks don't have it, and if you're on Android, I apologize, or if you're on a Windows phone, I apologize that we only are living in the world of iOS devices. I'm going to do my best to talk you through Mixbit. I was asked to do that without seeing it on the screen. So we're going to do our best, and I'm actually going to move closer in here so I'm a little closer to everybody. So we're going to open up the Mixbit app, but I want to, and we are going to, and it is crashing every time I open it.
You want to use
I'll quickly restart this.
All right, let's just, yeah. Thank you. There we go. Claire's got you have a lot of Mixbit app things. Oh, you just recorded this?
No, I haven't recorded anything in Mixbit. That's just, it all appeared.
Got it. Okay. So when you open up Mixbit, you're going to see, and I'll just hold it up for folks who might want to look at it at home. You're going to see that there is a place where it says Start Here. There's a little plus icon in the top right-hand corner, and you're going to literally click Start there. And the nice thing about Mixbit is that it is going to prompt you to turn your phone sideways so that you're recording in the 4:3 aspect ratio. So if I were to turn this around, you'll see it. If it's this way, you see there's black bars. And if I turn it this way, it fills the screen. It prompts you. You have a nice option with Mixbit of tapping where you want it to focus. So unlike a lot of mobile video cameras, if I were recording Jim and Kathleen and I really wanted to focus on Jim and not Kathleen, I can click on Jim's face and it gives me a little yellow circle, or I can click on Kathleen's face if I would prefer her to be in focus, and it will give me a nice yellow circle. When I want to start recording, I tap and I hold, and I keep my hand on the screen until I want to stop recording. This is the same way that you record with Vine video. You press and hold, you press and hold, and that creates the Vine video. Claire, you need to empty your device. You have way too many, you're full, your storage is full. When you're done, you turn the camera back to its vertical reference and you can finish your video. Well, I didn't take any video, so I can't finish the video because it won't let me take any video. And it will prompt you to upload that. If you create a Mixbit account, you can then upload it, share it in Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it with other people in that way.
You can also
Yeah.
Trim the little pieces that you've recorded. So you can import into Mixbit. You can import photographs as well as the video that you've shot. And then there is a little cropping icon, and that allows you to trim the amount of time either that photograph shows, because it's a default time of 6 or 12 seconds. So if you want it just to be 1 or 2 seconds, and it will also allow you to trim the video, how long the video is.
Yeah.
You can also reorganize where the sequence of the videos by just dragging and dropping, so you can see that pretty easily.
You can also bring in videos that you've recorded with your camera previously. So you can access, there's a download button and you can, or an upload button, and you can upload videos from your camera roll to Mixbit. And a lot of cameras will have that option. Did anybody here manage to download Director? So again, if you get a chance, if you have an iOS device and you have the ability to download Director, it's Direct with an R. Here's what's really exciting and fun about Director. The ability to storyboard. So I will pass this around. And if there's anybody who has an iOS device in your location that has downloaded Director, maybe I should hold still so you can focus on this. The storyboard function is going to give you a chance to improve the video imaging quality of the mobile video you create. So when you choose video as a tool, you're deciding that there's something visually interesting about what you're doing. It's not just a story that you can tell in the written form. It's not something that you want to have on a radio show. It's not something that you need to have a face-to-face meeting about. It's something that you want to tell because there's visually interesting components. So as Lauren Glenn said, the ever photographable world of garbage. If it is understanding through visual images the limitations of a food stamp budget, if it's understanding, if it's seeing the path that the Cotswalk takes so that people can understand why they would join you on the Cotswalk and where that would go and how much fun it is, because you can see there's kids and families and dogs and all, that it's all sorts of great, exciting time. The hard part about video storytelling, we're used to seeing it and consuming it, but making it is another story altogether. How did they get all those great pictures and images that make me feel things? And how do I do that? And Director kind of cheats you through that process, or helps you through that process by creating storyboards. So it's billed as being created by professional video makers, and so there's a bunch of different categories: pets, outdoors, scavenging, seasonal social events. So I chose the social events, and I chose the storyboard for public place check-in. So I'll do it this way. So this is a storyboard for a public place check-in, and this is walking you through all the steps. It'll ask you for a 3-second wide shot of the front door to your public place. It's then going to ask you for a 5-second shot of people doing, step back and hold it up, thank you. It'll ask you for a 5-second shot of people having an exciting time in that public place. Did anybody here get director? You have it? It's doing it now? So maybe, Claire, if you could open it up, and then in order to get to the storyboard component, you click on the little purple plus, and that's going to open up a new, and then maybe you could just click on one of the storyboard options and share that with folks.
So if you're clicking on the social events one as well, it shows a variety of different social events. It looks like you can choose and have prefabricated storyboards to give you ideas of how to create your video. It's pretty cool.
We could show a Vine video that way.
We could show a Vine video that way. We could.
Yep.
But let me finish up with director. So once you have, so remember the whole thing about shooting your video in horizontal format? Director is one that sort of broke that game mold because their app requires that you actually hold it in a vertical format. So it's taking the best of what makes these mobile devices so popular. They fit in the palm of your hand, right? You can use one hand to do all your texting, and then you have this other hand free for driving, unfortunately, right? Yes, and I'm that person. Yeah, go ahead.
So Brattleboro has a question. We're trying to make a video with Mixbit, but no one can figure out how to do a simple project. Could you show the buttons on the screen?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Try that right now.
Okay.
Because you made it work?
I think it might.
Okay, we're going to try it. We think that the air connection might work. And then the other question is it easy to do? All right, we do. We have a connection.
Cool.
Houston, we have a connection. All right.
So I'm really excited about this air server, and this is what all of teachers use when they're using iPhone and iPad devices. And it is a free download, or it's an inexpensive, it's not free, it's an inexpensive app that you can install on your laptop or your computer to connect it to your projector. So we're at director. So let me show you, let me walk you through director. So here's where you have, let's go back, exit out of there. And we have the option here to either click, it's not going to show me the bottom of my screen. Okay, so you have the option to click on the bottom of the screen and bring up your own movie creating device. You can click here and bring in things from your camera roll. You can click here on the purple icon to record. So that's all of you. You can turn on your light if you want. And then you can capture. Leaving out that, the purple plus sign in director brings us all of these lovely storyboards. So noodle around in there, practicing with telling a story visually and using the cues that they give you to make your project more visually compelling.
So can we see a storyboard?
Yeah, so right now this is the storyboard for winter sports. And we have summer fruit picking as the first shot that we want to see. Oh no, that's the first storyboard. And we can, when we click on directed, it's going to walk us through the steps of taking each of these shots. So number 1, and I'm just going to click on the image, and it brings it up, and it shows me that it wants a medium shot. It wants a shot of the sign, and it's going to ask me to record that for 3.9 seconds. So if I were to do that, press record, it's going to record my image, which is not of a sign, but is of Jim and Kathleen, for 3.9 seconds, and then put that into my sequence. And it'll walk us through each of those shots. We can go back and review it, and we see now we have our title card. We have the first shot that we created, and we have our work cut out for us because we need to record 9 more shots. When I'm finished and I upload that video, the nice thing about Director is it's going to save that video to your camera roll as well as upload it to the web. When you save it to your camera roll, you have the widest options in terms of distribution because you can distribute it to your YouTube account, your Vimeo account, and then from there to all the other social networks. Should I go back to Mixbit?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Wait 1 sec.
Yeah.
People, can I just say one thing? People can't really hear the audience, so could you repeat that question?
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Can you say more about it uploading? It automatically uploads your finished product?
It automatically will save your finished. So the question was, what does it mean that it's automatically uploaded? When you download these apps, you have the option of creating an account, and then it will upload it to that account. And it will also, in this case of Director, save it to your camera roll, at which point you can then upload that camera roll, upload that video from your camera roll. So if you go to your camera roll and I were to click on any photo or image, we have the option at the bottom, and it's not showing it on the screen here, of clicking share. And it doesn't want to show me the share buttons, but that's okay. You are familiar. Have you seen these share buttons? So when you click on your option to share it, it will give you options to share it. Thank you, Jim. With Facebook, YouTube, email.
In other words, when you first upload it, it isn't publishing it.
That it will give you an option to publish it or keep it private. Yeah, both Mixbit and Director give you the option to publish or make it private.
So Mixbit.
So Mixbit. Is still crashing. Oh, I know how to fix that. Delete it. At least we have that cute baby to look at.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to delete the app. Well, I can't talk you through Mixbit because it is crashing on your phone.
But maybe you could why don't you do a little close up to the camera, and maybe you can show it that way.
No, I can't open it on
Oh, you can't open it.
I can't open it on here. So what was the question that folks had about Mixbit, you said?
Well, the question was, no one can figure out how to do a simple project.
Okay,
Show the buttons on the screen.
thank you. The way to start with your simple project with Mixbit is to push in the top right corner of the screen. Is this a good spot to stand to you? And Kevin, I'm showing this actually by holding the device here, yeah. Up here in the top corner of the screen is the plus button. And when I click on that, it's going to bring up my camera. And it's the most simple interface. It's opening up a camera option. Turn, and all of a sudden it is in the horizontal framework. I can click here to switch from the front to the back screen. I can click here to tell it I want to focus on Tuya, And then if I press and hold, I will start recording. So you see my record button there. And then if I can figure out which way to go, I can record all of you. And when I stop recording, it will stop. When I turn my camera, it brings me back to this interface. I press that button. I can review my video. I press the arrow button again, and I can finish the video. And you see here where it says published or limited. I can make it public, or I can make it a limited number of viewers. I can add a title in this screen. We'll bring up my thing, and I can title it. Check mark. I'm going to publish. Is that all right? Okay, you can delete it later. It's being published. The drawback of Mixbit at this point is that I can't do anything more now that it is uploading. The cool thing about Director is you can publish and then you can keep working. So if you're at an event and you want to interview somebody, you can interview them with Director, you can click publish, and then you can keep working while it is uploading. So I guess, are there other questions?
There's a couple questions.
Yep.
One is it easy to distribute? This is from ORCA. Is it easy to distribute from the phone to a website? Can you embed the video into a website?
That question would be a question to ask your website manager, depending on how maybe your WordPress account is set up, if you're using an RSS feed or tags to pull video from the internet. But all of these have embed codes that you can use to embed the video. So one thing is that I now have Vine available. So Vine is the 6-second video, and I am following. You can have followers like in Instagram or Twitter. And in this case, I am following Diabetes UK. I am following Dogs Trust, and I'm following Practical Action. And all of those are nonprofit organizations that are using Vine 6-second videos to engage with their community. And Diabetes Trust has a great one, if I can scroll down to it. They've got a ton of them. So diabetes doesn't seem like a super fun topic, right? It's probably hard to get people to pay attention to you, but if you have, if you're in the Vine sphere and you can sort of stand out as being something a little more interesting to look at. So maybe it would pique your interest to follow their link, Who is Banting. This is a cycle video. So to use Vine from here, if we were to create our own Vine, I could go back to my profile, and I could go home. There's a little lag on the screen. Once we see the home button come up, we have a little icon in the top right-hand corner, the camera icon. I'm going to press that icon, and just like in Mixbit and in Director, the way we get it to record is to press on the screen. So who is at the meeting, Maven? We have Jim, We have Kathleen. We could go around and record everybody. And we could turn us into a little 6-second party. And if you see the little green bar on the top, oops, Miss Lauren Glenn, there we are. It's like a merry-go-round. A video. I click the next button, and all of a sudden I'm posting to Vine. I can choose to post to Twitter. I'd have to sign in. I could choose to post to Facebook. Let's not do that. Let's not go there right now. You can distribute quickly to all of those platforms. Click done, and then you're part of the Vine community. Any questions here about Vine?
Wait one sec. You have to use the mic.
So remind me, is Vine an application or the online community?
It's both. So it's an app or an application. It's an application for your mobile device. I don't think they have Vine for a Windows phone, and I don't think they have Vine for an Android device. It's just an iOS, so you could download it for your iPad. And it is also a community. You'll see people will post Vines on Facebook, and they don't cycle the 6 seconds. They just play for the 6 seconds. One of the things that Vine will help you do, though, is to really hone visually what's important to you. You'll quickly realize that, right, seeing all of our faces might be fun for a little demonstration, but it may not be the most visually interesting thing for your community, right? So you can get into sort of what's more visually interesting.
Do you want to say more about distribution as we start to wrap up?
I think if you have, did other folks have questions about distribution?
Jim? Yep.
Just, it looks like a Vine for Android as well.
There's Vine for Android?
Yeah.
Awesome.
There you go.
Oh, you don't have an iPad, you have a tablet?
Tablet,
Yep, got it, perfect. Thank you.
So I think the question, as we get to the issue of distribution, goes back to who's our audience and where are they? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Are they receiving emails? Is this a video that you might embed on your website, which you could because there is a URL attached to it, so you could embed it in the website? Is it something you're going to project on a big screen and invite a bunch of people to come and watch, right? So there are different ways that you might distribute it depending on where your people are and where you want to bring them to. So you don't have a huge number of distribution alternatives, but as Megan said, you can either contextualize these videos within a community like a Vine or a Facebook or an Instagram, or they can stand alone on your own through your own email or web-based.
Yep. And this distribution chart here sort of gives you an idea. YouTube being the biggest bucket, Facebook being kind of the next biggest bucket, and Vine being the smaller bucket. So if you have the option to create, say, a YouTube channel or a Vimeo channel, and those two different channels have their own sort of cachet, Vimeo being usually a little longer form in the short form world, and being more of a platform for video makers, and YouTube being what what's familiar to us, the catch-all for all short form video. What's nice about YouTube, if you are uploading it, so I have a video here. That I did upload, and I wanted to show. This was a video called Raptor Rescue. And this video was made with a mobile device when on Thanksgiving last year, we went to the chicken coop and found a great horned owl entangled, ensnared in the electric chicken wire fence. And the first thing I did was I went to YouTube to find, what do we do? It's Thanksgiving Day. How do you get your great horned owl? Well, went to Google, right? And then I'm starting to look on YouTube, because there are people that have posted videos about birds caught in their all sorts of places. So when you upload to YouTube, what becomes really important is the metadata that you attach to that. So in this case, this video is uploaded to YouTube, and it has attached to it great horned owl, Pennsylvania, because this was in Pennsylvania Fish and Game folks who actually did come out on Thanksgiving Day to take that owl out of the electric fence after we sat there with it for 2 hours. So it becomes, all of a sudden, it moves from a personal experience into an educational experience once you attach those tags to it and you upload it to that platform. Then from YouTube, I can share that with all my best friends on Facebook, and they can begin to share that with their best friends if they think it's interesting and compelling. If I have my Twitter account, I can share it with my influential movers and shakers on my Twitter account, and they can share that. But it's all linked back to that primary distribution platform, YouTube, where I can count views, I can manage the metadata, I can make sure that there is tags, the correct tags and distribution. So that's a little bit on distribution that I think is important.
Can you show that screen where the tags are so people, I'm not sure everybody completely understands what metadata is, and then we're going to wrap up. Here's a question from Mary Harwood. Can one of these short videos be incorporated into a public access show through editing? Yes, it could be.
Yeah. And one of the things that's really important about mobile video is really designed for mobile devices. Despite the fact that your new iPhone 5, if you have a new iPhone 5, is taking what's called HD video, it isn't really designed for broadcast. You can, however, incorporate some of those clips into, if you have a show in your studio, or if you have a show in your access center, you can incorporate some of those clips, and certainly people share YouTube clips all the time on programs here. Does that answer that question a little bit?
Yep.
But if you are, one of the things to think about with mobile video is it can be the place that you practice, you explore your story, and you explore your visual images. If you want your public service announcement to end up on WCAX, or Comcast has a free public service announcement, they do it as a community benefit, probably they're not going to accept your mobile video shot device. But you can save a lot of money when you go to your producer, your independent video producer, and you say, this is sort of what I'm looking for. Can you shoot this for me in a professional way? So you get to practice a little bit. It's sort of like sketching, but you're sketching with video.
We have one final question.
Yep.
This is from Kurt in Middlebury. Any recommendations for crowdsourcing footage while pooling somewhere for organized editing? I'm thinking of county fairs and being able to edit in the near real time so the crowd can upload the footage and then see it on a big screen in a booth shortly thereafter, mashed up with other footage.
Yeah. There is a device, here's a thing called the 8 Best Mobile Apps, and there is actually an app called Crowds. It is location-based, and it is designed to have a number of people signed in the same location. So if you are organizing an event and you wanted a lot of people to be recording video at that event, like a wedding, it could be, or maybe it's a nonprofit event, you could create a tag. You could have people download Crowds. You could give them the information on how to download Crowds, and then they can all be taking video and aggregating them in the same place. You can do the same thing with a YouTube channel. You can do the same thing with tags. But if you know that your audience in that case is people you want collecting video for you, and uploading and sharing it, then you just have to give them the information about how to do that.
So now is when we're going to wrap up. And for folks that are at access centers or even at home or even here, if you want to spend a little time playing with Mixbit or whatever you've downloaded, now is a really good time to do that. And I'd like to thank Meghan O'Rourke for presenting, and I'd like to thank everyone for being with us. And these were great questions. And we're going to send out the resources for this. So we'll send out the how-tos, and we'll send out the links, and we'll send out the presentation so that you can have it right at your hands. And really, there is no substitute for experimenting yourself. I mean, really, this is something you just have to play with, and sometimes it seems hard to do, but actually it's designed to be pretty straightforward. The main thing is to think about the audience and to think about if this is the most appropriate medium for them, and then to think about how we're going to actually get this piece of video to them, or how they're going to get this piece of video to us and what we're going to be doing with us. So the interactive element, I think, is really pretty exciting, the two-way use of this media. So I'd like to thank once again all our host sites and our viewers at remote locations. Thanks for bearing with us, and we'll be sending out the materials to you very shortly, and we'd love to hear from you as well. Thanks so much for watching. For Common Good and CCTV and Channel 17, thanks so much.